Welcome back to Square Off. With the Delta variant of COVID-19 surging, several Valley school districts imposed their mask mandates as students returned to school last week. A prominent private school, Brophy Prep, is asking students and faculty to vaccinate. Brophy also happens to be the alma mater of Governor Ducey's sons, the very anti-mandate governor. Can the schools defy state law banning mandates? Joining us now is Will Humble. He is Executive Director of the Arizona Public Health Association and a former Health Services Director for the state of Arizona. Welcome back to Square Off, Will.
Thanks, Brown.
Start by giving us a wellness check. Where are we with the Delta variant of COVID-19, number of cases, and the trajectory?
Yeah. I mean, the main thing that's changed for us is that the Delta variant has become dominant, and we see it reflected in Arizona's data. If you remember back 2 weeks ago or so, we were under 1,000 cases a day. We're now at 2,500 and increasing. We're basically in an exponential growth curve. We've got increases in hospitalizations across the system everywhere in Arizona, really, including PEDS beds. But it's nothing like December, January, and February, and I don't expect it to be like that, but it's definitely an exponential growth.
There is hope it'll be like the trajectories in other countries, Britain and India, peaking fast and then falling fast. Do you see that here?
Well, it remains to be seen, really. I mean, the thing that's different here is that our vaccination rates are not as good as they are in the UK. And so I don't know that we can really compare ourselves directly to UK because they're doing better on vaccinations. Of course, it will peak and it will come down at some point. We just don't know when that is. And the variables are, well, the main variable really is, do Arizonans get out there and pick up the vaccination, especially in those groups under 40 where it's really pretty bad vaccination rates in our state?
For folks who are vaccinated, how concerned should they be?
Well, if you're vaccinated, I don't think you need to be concerned at all. It gives you terrific protection. I think you can go out and live your life the way you did before the pandemic. We are asking people, if you have been vaccinated, to wear a mask while you're in public because of the asymptomatic spread that's possible in breakthrough cases. But if you're vaccinated, I don't know that you need to be too worried at all. If you're unvaccinated, basically, at some point, you're going to become infected with this, and you may have a good outcome and you may not, and you're really just rolling the dice, but you are in control of your own destiny. You could get out there and get the vaccine. It's not like there's a complicated appointment system anymore. You can get it just about anywhere, and that's what I hope people do.
Let's talk about what's happening in the schools. Most of them returned to classes last week. A biology teacher sued Phoenix Union over its mask mandate. There's a court hearing later this week on that. Brophy Prep requiring vaccines, but offering the option of regular COVID tests. Starting with the mask mandate, are those schools like Phoenix Union on solid ground?
I think they are. And I think what's happening is that the lawyers for the school boards are telling those folks on the governing boards that they are on solid ground. Number one, there's a terrific case to be made that this restriction on mask mandates that the governor signed doesn't even take effect until September 29th. So they're good to go in that regard. Also, there's a terrific case to be made that he signing that bill was violating the state's constitution on the single subject clause. And ultimately, the courts are going to end up ruling on that in Superior Court, maybe even the state Supreme Court. And it'll probably happen in August or in September, most likely August.
What about the Brophy case? They are requiring vaccinations, but also allowing the option of regular COVID tests if you don't take one. Is that kind of a gray area when it comes to the law?
Well, no, not really. Brophy Prep is on solid ground with that. They can do it. They're a private school. They can ask students to be vaccinated, or if they're not vaccinated, do periodic testing, which is basically, by the way, the same ASU plan. It is a little bit weird in that, private schools also have vaccine requirements for things like measles, mumps, rubella, all of those things. COVID-19 has not been added to the state's list of vaccines. And so that's a little off. Plus, and this is getting in the weeds a little bit, the governor signed a bill, one of those budget bills that restricts restricts schools from requiring, or restricts people from requiring vaccines that are emergency use authorized.
Right. So they're okay because there's some who believe they're not because of that law because of.
Yeah, again, this is another one of those things that I think is going to have to be resolved in the courts.
Okay. Last word here. Dr. Cara Christ is stepping down as public health director. The governor has to fill that job, likely a short-term job. He's out of office in about a year and a half. How tough is that going to be for him to fill it?
Well, I think it's going to be a really hard job to fill with a public health professional that has a good reputation, because whoever takes that position is going to be expected to basically defend the governor's past and future policy decisions that in many cases are not based on evidence or good public health practice. So it's going to be hard for someone to come in and take the risk that their reputation will be less than it was when they started. There are good candidates out there. I'd love to see Dr. Rich Carmona be asked to be the director. I think he's got the kind of credentials that people respect. Sadly, I don't think that the governor has the appetite to bring somebody like that in, because he's pretty independent guy. He's committed to evidence. He's very self-confident, and that's not the kind of person I expect the governor to put into that position.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Will Humble, thanks so much for joining us.
Take care. Thanks.